and Brad, the two most famous physical therapists on the internet.
Hi folks, I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
Brad, as physical therapists, we really kind of enjoy ourselves sometimes when we're at a gym, don't we? We see lots of things that we're like, shake our head and go, you gotta be kidding me. So
Right.
That's what we're gonna discuss today. 10 exercises and lifts you should never do. They're harmful, they're dangerous. And we know that there's going to be a little bit of controversy on this because some people disagree with us on these.
Right. They're going to say, you guys are not weightlifters and you don't know what you're talking about. And there may be some controversy that's valid, but we are definitely going to show you how to keep your body healthy in the long run.
And I disagree with that. I've lifted weights my entire life. Maybe I don't look like it, but at one point I really looked fairly big because
strong like bull.
There we go. But it's a risk versus reward, isn't it, Brad?
Sure.
I mean, if so you're taking this risk that you're going to strengthen to this extra little point, maybe with squats, and you may end up injuring your back, and then you're not going to be able to do anything.
You may not injure it while you're doing it or for those period of 10 years, whatever, but remember Terry?
Yeah?
Yeah. How he'd go and lift all the time, heavy weights he talked about, and he gets in his 60s and now he's having back problems. His retirement is really changed because of the abuse he did to his body.
And it may not take that long, believe me.
Right.
So let's start off with the first one, Brad. This is one that's just a common exercise, not a lift. But I still see people. I mean, they used to teach this in gym classes.
Sure.
So, but you stand up and they're telling you to do toe touches. Well, some people do their hamstring stretch like this.
Right.
And some people do toe touches like this, going down like this. Well, there was a study done by Nachemson, and and everybody in physical therapy knows of him. And what he did is he stuck a needle inside the discs of your back, and he measured how much pressure there was on it when you were doing certain things. Well, he found out this is one of the ways to put an extreme amount of stress on your back is when your back is rounded out like this and you're leaning forward.
Yeah, he's talking about in the disc itself, and the disc is if you get a herniated disc, it's a problem.
Right, and if it's in the disc, it's also in the muscles and everything around it too.
Right, exactly.
So this, even though you're not lifting anything, just by bending forward like this is putting a heck amount of stress on your back. Absolutely would not recommend it.
If you want to stretch your hamstrings, we've got a number of videos on how to do it properly to eliminate the stress on your back with it.
Do you want to show the good mornings with the barbell, Brad?
Sure.
You've said you've seen this one, right?
Yes. Good mornings. As a matter of fact, when my daughter was in high school, for track and for basketball, she'd go into the weight room and they would do the good mornings like this. And what they were trying, the goal was to strengthen the hamstrings, which is true. The hamstrings are working, and they're working to get you upright along with your back muscles. But if you look at the mechanics, when you get to here particularly, right here, there's a tremendous amount of stress on L4, L5, and S1 in the discs involved with it.
And that's going back to that same Nachemson study. That position would, especially you're adding weight onto.
Exactly.
I mean, good grief, Brad. It's good mornings. It's good grief, and it's also good riddance to it. That's one you definitely got to stop.
When I was in school, I did a study. It was one of my research things I did in one of my classes, and I calculated how much force was on the back without the weight. Then you put the weight on there because of physics and the leverage.
It's crazy.
It's really not. There's a lot better ways to strengthen the back muscles and the hamstrings than that particular technique.
Have we talked yet to the new people?
Well, there are a few new people, and maybe they should be aware of this.
But also, have they subscribed to us?
That's what I mean. Be aware of subscribing. Right there's
a button. If you're new to our channel, please, there's a button over here. Please take a second to subscribe. We'll provide you lots of videos on how to stay healthy, pain-free, and we upload every day.
Right.
So,
what's the next one, Bob?
Next one is a full sit-up, Brad. So this also kind of goes back to the Nachemson idea. You don't want to be doing a full sit-up like this. He actually had a diagram of a person like this in this position, and it put a lot of stress on the back also in that direction.
It's true, it does work the stomach muscles.
Yes, it does.
Quite well, but you're paying a price for it.
And if you want to make it worse, come up and twist and go like this.
Or even make it worse is do that again and hold on to, I see people that hold on to a plate, 25
I've seen that too.
plate.
When I was younger, Brad, I used to get on one of those incline boards, and I had a big plate, and I'd lift up like this. Oh my God, I'm so lucky I didn't blow out my back.
Well, the thing is, again, these injuries are not going to happen the day you do it or even for a few weeks or months. It adds up over a period of a couple of years of doing this or even a few months.
It could happen again at the time.
It could, yeah.
So, all right, the next one is one I've seen a couple times where people, they're on the treadmill and they're just leaning on it like this.
Oh.
They might be walking, they might be running, but they're just like this, and it's promoting their bad posture. They're breathing. You can't, your diaphragm's in a bad position.
Right.
Your chest is in a bad position. You can't bring in the air.
Right, your shoulders, your neck.
I know they're trying to, by doing this, you're kind of reversing, the origin and insertion of the pec muscles, and it kind of helps you breathe a little bit hard. Like when people are tired, what is the first thing they do? They go like this.
Right, it's a natural response.
Yeah, but it's just a terrible thing to do. Get on the treadmill. I mean, if you want to, you can hold on to the sides, but just keep good posture while you're doing it.
Be aware of that posture, because we just talk about this all the time. But we'll go on to the next one.
Okay.
Believe us.
Stiff-legged bent over rows. Do you want to do that one, Brad?
So, the knees are straight, okay, and we're going like this and up like this.
And there's
I'm sorry.
rows.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just saw someone doing this the other day at the gym. She did have really good posture back here. She was arching her back the way it should be, so that was a good thing.
But still, you can't do it.
But still, it's
just too much stress on the back.
Right.
Again, risk versus reward. You're going to get some strengthening, but you're really at a high risk for hurting your back.
Right.
They have machines. I mean, I have one of these, Brad, at home actually, where you can lay on it and then you can lift up like that. And I use that.
I saw someone the other day. She was using an incline bench to use it, so it was supporting the weight of her chest. And then she had two dumbbells, and she was doing this.
That's beautiful. That works out just fine. So, shoulder presses. You might as well keep that, Brad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, this is the one that a lot of people are going to disagree with us.
The military press?
Yeah, well, first off, behind the head.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Without a doubt, everybody's going to tell you this is bad because you've really got the shoulder externally rotated. You're way at the end range of it, and you're going back, and it's just putting a heck of a lot of stress on the shoulder.
Go ahead and do it once in a while. As therapists, we know when you get right about in this range is where you're more likely to put that impingement on the tendon.
Right.
Here, that supraspinatus tendon.
Yes.
And then you put weight on there besides, and then you add repetition, and then it can all add up to shoulder problems.
And I don't even agree with this one, Brad, in the front of the head.
It's probably a little less stress.
It's less stress, but these are really small muscles, first off.
Sure.
And you don't need to work them that hard, that heavy at weights.
Right.
There's, you can do other ways of strengthening it. And there's still impingement this way too. I've seen it with people. And when you get impingement, it's wearing on that tendon, and eventually you can, get to the point where it becomes severed, and you can actually have a rotator cuff tear.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just not worth it. And as you get older, you realize these things.
Right. Yeah.
So
we're both in our 50s, mid-50s, and we've learned from our mistakes. I know there's a lot of people out here just saying, these guys don't know what they're talking about, and they're out there powerlifting, they're getting big muscles, but it adds up and it catches up with you.
Yeah. How about stiff-legged deadlifts, Brad? That was the one you were doing.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, do it, Bob.
Sure. So now, basically, they're lifting up from the floor, right, Brad, and lifting up like that, doing stiff-legged. Again, there's no way, I don't care how good a form you have, there's no way you're not putting extreme amount of stress on the back.
Oh, yeah.
So, and not good stress. I mean, not strengthening stress.
That's really going over the edge.
Right. And we did a whole video on this one, Brad. The next one, full squats with the butt wink.
Right.
So you want to talk about that, Brad,
Sure.
since that was your video?
And I just saw someone, I was working on my pull-ups, and I looked over, and this guy, and he was working hard. I give him a lot of credit, and he was in good shape, and he went I have a hard time even doing it. I'm not a
I know, I can't go all the way down, yeah.
He was going all the way down and up, and he had good balance with it. And you could see when he got right about to here, you could see his pelvis and everything. That butt wink was very clear. It's like, oh, there it winked, and he come right back up. And
so basically, right towards the end, the back is flexing a little bit more, and that's where you're really putting stress on. At this point, you still got the back very, very straight, but once you go down this far, it's impossible to stop your back from not rotating a little bit.
The posterior tilt.
Yeah, the posterior tilt, and putting much more stress on the back.
There's something called end range, and all therapists are very familiar with end range, and we all know you do not want to exercise and push joints into end range repetitively.
Right.
Unless it's therapeutic, which that's in the clinic. It's not in the gym. So this is going down to end range in your knees, your back, and those 2 points are both at risk when you do that.
All right, Brad, if I'll simulate the leg press here.
Oh, sure.
You know, when you're on the leg press and you're getting up and you're doing like these.
Right, you got the plate here sliding on the rail.
All we're saying is don't go past 90. If you bring it way down here, this is really a lot of stress on the knee. You know, you keep it right about here, and you know you're still going to have good benefit, but you're just not going that far. So,
and I know the argument is we wanted to strengthen the muscles throughout the whole range of motion, which is a valid argument, but you're stressing joints at end range, and you're sacrificing, and again, like Bob says, you're putting yourself at risk with those
and the final one, Brad, is upright rows. So, you know, you're bringing it like this, and you're going up like this, and again, it just really increases the possibility of impingement at the shoulder.
Right up in here.
So, just very simply, it's just not a good one to do.
Right, that's supraspinatus tendon, one of the primary tendons that gets injured with rotator cuff. That's the one that's at risk with this particular technique.
And again, you know, you might get away with it for quite a few years, or you may not. But when you're in your 50s, you're going, please, I wish I would have done that. So, thanks, folks. Thanks for watching.
And be strong like bull.